Don't worry, I'm not coming down here because I have bad news. I was in St. Louis this week for the annual Sikh conference, and so I didn't have a chance to sit and write my homily like I normally would. So I've got nothing on paper, which could be very good for you or very bad. We might be here until the 11 o'clock Mass. No, I'm kidding. But I wanted to actually come down to share with you a little bit personally about what I experienced this week and how it relates, I think, to the solemnity that we celebrate today, the great feast of the Epiphany. So we know that today is the 12th day of Christmas. And what did our true love bring to us on the 12th day of Christmas? 12 drummers drumming. Well, guess what my true love brought to me on the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th days of Christmas this week? 25,000 college students praying and singing and laughing and adoring. It was the best gift that I could have been given. Students from all over the country, along with their priests and chaplains. There were over 500 priests who were there. Religious sisters and brothers. I was up to my neck in nuns this week. It was great. The habits flapping in the wind. It was great. And faithful people from around the country all gathered in St. Louis for the Sikh conference. And we were treated to a variety of different talks from some of our Catholic superheroes like Father Mike Schmitz and Dr. Scott Hahn and a bunch of other people. It was a great, great week. But one of the most profound experiences that I had this week was something that happened daily, but also that happened in particular on Wednesday evening. So after the keynote speeches, we had a period of adoration in the Great Dome in St. Louis. It used to be a football stadium, and they've converted it into a conference center. And there are 25,000 people all in this stadium. And it was time for Eucharistic adoration. And the priests brought out the Eucharist, and they would process with it throughout the whole stadium. But as soon as the monstrance came out, what struck me was a sound. The sound of 25,000 pairs of knees hitting the floor. This was an arena. There were no kneelers in there. And these were younger knees, so they could do this, right? Not everybody's able to do this. But it was the sound that struck me in that moment. All these knees hitting the ground. And I'm prone in these moments not to just meditation, but to analysis. And I kind of step outside of myself and I think, what is going on? These are 25,000 20 to 22-year-olds thereabouts. They should be out at a concert. They should be out doing something exciting or flashy. And what are they doing? They are bending their knees before the Eucharist, which is itself not flashy at all. It looks and appears to be nothing more than a piece of bread. And each of these knees hit the ground. It just really struck me in that moment. And that was an epiphany moment for me. Because it's hard to believe in the Eucharist. It takes daily effort to bend my will and to bend my intellect to believe what my senses tell me is only bread. And the Lord knew that in that moment I needed those 25,000 pairs of knees to hit the ground, to reveal to me once more this ancient and yet very new truth and reality, that God is present in our midst. Now, today, as we celebrate the feast of the Epiphany of the Lord, 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem, with Magi from the east, the same thing is repeating itself. This unsuspected band of people, we're told in the scriptures that they are Magi, not kings. We don't really know what their status was, but Magi in Greek is magician or astrologer or sorcerer, right? A band of unexpected people, very wise, very intelligent, but very different. And they came from afar, moved by an inexplicable inner force to come to the Christmas crib. And these very intelligent, very worldly, or maybe even otherworldly men did the same thing. They fell down on their knees, and they adored what the whole world would have said was just a baby. Just a baby. Why are you going to bend down to a baby? Why are you going to bend down to a piece of bread? See, when I enter into this world, when I begin to think about what God is doing in our midst, it's absolutely incredible how he humbles himself and then draws us into it. By becoming a child, he's almost necessitated that anybody who's going to interact with him is going to have to bend down. And by becoming to us what appears to be only a piece of bread or a chalice filled with wine, requires us to bend down to enter into this mystery. With our bodies, if we can, we physically kneel if we can, but we still have to bend our hearts, and we still have to bend our minds to this. We still have to go down low to understand it. And my friends, when we do that, it is a powerful witness. We think that the role of evangelization, or making our faith known in the world, is just some sort of big intellectual enterprise, right? I got to have a lot of Bible studies, and we got to have a lot of programs, and we got to teach people so that they understand and know. And that's all important. But let me tell you, you will give no greater witness to God himself, to the whole world, than by your adoration, by falling down. That Christmas carol that we all love so much, O Holy Night, what are the words that strike us? I don't know the musical ins and outs, but when they start to sing "Fall on Your Knees," there's something musically that happens that captures my heart. There's something about us falling down. There's something about us getting down to adore these hidden mysteries that is powerful. And we need each other to do this. I needed those college students to adore, just as the world needed the Magi to adore. And we don't know what the Magi did afterwards. We don't know if, when they went back to the East, if they started to proclaim what they understood to be the good news, or if they even talked to anybody about it. But all I know is that 2,000 years later, I'm still struck by their adoration, and so are you. We put them outside our nativity, and they're all hunched over. They're all bending down to this great mystery, and that gives me a reason to continue bowing down. It gives me a reason in my weakness of faith to keep going. And having you here, each and every single one of you, helps my faith too. When I hear those kneelers hit the ground, and your young knees or your old knees go down, or if you can't, when you just bend yourself over, that increases my faith. It helps me to continue believing in what I cannot see. And that is your most powerful gift to the whole world. It doesn't have to be grand, and it doesn't have to be great. You don't have to stand out on the street corners with signs telling people what to do. You evidence it by your adoration. As you all came in this morning, and I'd like to punish myself by standing outside in the cold, right? As you all come in and you're freezing and you can see the breath coming from your mouth, don't think that you're not evangelizing. Every car that drives by that sees these crazy Christians who should be at home in front of their fireplaces, or at least under their Afghans, coming into church on a cold Sunday morning, is a great gift, because they know why you're coming in here. You're coming in here to fall on your knees. And it's powerful. And I can't make sense of it. I don't know why anybody outside of faith would choose to do this. I don't know why 25,000 college students would give up a portion of their Christmas break to travel to St. Louis, to stay up way too late, get up way too early, and spend hours of their day in prayer with each other on their knees. I don't understand that intellectually. It doesn't make sense to me. And so I need these outward expressions to keep me going. And you need them too. When we fall on our knees, we do what the Magi did. We proclaim to the world that there is something left to adore. And my friends, you and I don't have to travel all the way to Bethlehem to do this. We have our own Bethlehem right here. Bethlehem in Hebrew means the house of bread. And that is the only reason why this building exists. This building was built by your grandparents and your great-grandparents to be in Old Town, the house of bread, the Bethlehem, the place where the bread of life would lay for us in the feeding trough of the altar. And what do we do in response? We fall and we adore. How very, very powerful. When you go forth from this church today, life is going to be just as you left it when you came in. There are going to be all of the same things that you've got to worry about. Bills to pay, work to go to, school to do, illnesses to deal with, relationships to fix that are all of it. It is all true. But what remains the case is in the midst of your busy life, in the midst of everybody's busy life, in what can sometimes be this dark world, this house of bread remains. And the same Christ who was encountered 2,000 years ago by Magi from the East can be encountered by this motley group of people today. And we don't see anything different than they do. They saw a baby, we see bread. But we know by faith, and something that we cannot even begin to imagine, that it is God who is here. Come, let us adore. Even when all the Christmas stuff is taken down, which unfortunately it will be this week, and we will miss it. The trees will go. We won't be singing the Christmas carols anymore. We're going to go back to ordinary time. But can we still have in our hearts the refrain from the song that we sang on Christmas night? Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.